What if the most unexpected major champion in a century was also the most deserving one? That question is hanging over the entire PGA Tour right now, and it connects directly to the chaos unfolding at the CJ Cup Byron Nelson this week at TPC Craig Ranch in McKinney, Texas. Because before a single shot was struck at this $10.3 million event, the field had already been torn apart by a wave of withdrawals that nobody saw coming. And sitting right at the center of all of it is a 31-year-old Englishman from Wolverhampton who just did something that had not been done in over 100 years. The withdrawals started on Saturday, May 16th, when Nicolai Højgaard and Marco Penge both pulled out of the field. That immediately opened spots for Noah Goodwin and Cameron Champ. Then things kept escalating on Sunday. Michael Kim withdrew. Webb Simpson withdrew. Trey Mullinax withdrew. That allowed Will Gordon and Luke List to move into the tournament. Then Monday hit, and that is when everything really unraveled. Aldrich Potgieter withdrew. Andrew Putnam withdrew. And then, the name that made every golf fan stop and pay attention, Aaron Rai, fresh off the biggest moment of his entire career, also officially pulled out. That opened the door for Jonathan Bird, Austin Cook, and S.Y. No to enter the field on short notice. Because officials still needed to complete the tee time groupings for the week, the PGA Tour actually expanded the field from 145 players to 147 players. Scott Piercy was added. Ryan Palmer was added. Sponsor exemption, Mason Howell also entered the tournament. Then 4 golfers ground their way through late open qualifying to earn spots. Greg Gregory, Nathan Petronzio, Alex Wong, and Ronan Banerjee. 8 withdrawals, a field expansion, late qualifying scrambles, and the defending champion still in the mix. This is the reality of the 2026 CJ Cup Byron Nelson before a single hole was played. When you suddenly lose players like Aaron Rai, Michael Kim, Nicolai Højgaard, and Webb Simpson all within days of the rhythm of the field changes, the betting odds shift, the featured groups change, the pressure changes, and even the mentality for some players changes, because now guys who barely got into the field suddenly feel like they have been handed a huge opportunity. The PGA Tour has a system ready for moments exactly like this. They use an alternate priority ranking list. So when somebody withdraws late, the next eligible player immediately gets contacted and moved into the field. Marco Penge reportedly pulled out because he is still recovering from a viral infection. But Aaron Rai's situation is on a completely different level. Because his withdrawal was not due to injury, he withdrew because his life completely changed in the span of one unforgettable Sunday. Aaron Rai officially pulled out of the CJ Cup Byron Nelson just one day after winning the PGA Championship at Aronimink Golf Club in absolutely historic fashion. To understand why that decision makes complete sense, you first need to understand exactly what he did on Sunday, May 17th, 2026. The setup at Aronimink was brutal. Players expected difficult pin locations. What they got instead were some of the hardest pins seen in a modern major championship. The leaderboard was historically bunched heading into Sunday, with multi-time major winners scattered across the top of it. Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, Scottie Scheffler, Justin Thomas, and Xander Schauffele all in the hunt. Aaron Rai was not supposed to be the man who separated himself from that field. He entered the week ranked 44th in the world. He had one PGA Tour victory to his name. He was respected by the players around him, but he was not the name casual fans were circling on their leaderboard. His front nine on Sunday did nothing to change that narrative initially. He birdied the first and fourth holes, but dropped shots at the third, sixth, and eighth, falling 3 strokes behind. It looked like the major was slipping away. Walking to the ninth tee, Rai had a conversation with his caddy, Jason Timmis, who told him he needed to be more precise and intentional about his shot flights and shot shapes. The same type of meticulous details that had been drilled into Rai since childhood. What happened next was one of the most remarkable back 9 runs in major championships. Rai found himself on the par 5/9 green with a 40-foot eagle putt. He drained it. That eagle reinvigorated everything. He picked up another birdie at the 11th, which officially gave him the lead. Then came an exquisite bunker shot at the 13th that set up another birdie and a 2-shot lead. A majestic second shot on the par, 5/16, assured another birdie and more breathing room. Then came the 17th hole. Holding a 2-stroke lead, Rai stood over a 68-foot birdie putt across one of the most demanding greens at Aronimink. The winding 68-foot birdie that dropped on the 17th will come to define this victory in perpetuity. He made it. 3 shots clear with 1 hole to play, the Wanamaker Trophy was hit. Rai closed with a final round 5 under 65, finishing the tournament at 9 under par, 3 strokes ahead of Jon Rahm and Alex Smalley, who both finished at 6 under. Germany's Matti Schmid, Sweden's Ludvig Aberg, and Justin Thomas were tied at 5 under. The numbers and records attached to this victory are genuinely staggering. Aaron Rai became the first Englishman to win the PGA Championship since Jim Barnes in 1919. More than 100 years of history rewritten in a single afternoon. He also became the first player of Indian descent to win a men's major championship, breaking through 2 historic barriers simultaneously. His back 9 at Aronimink places him in the most exclusive company in golf history. The previous 2 players to go 6 under or better over the final 10 holes of major were Cameron Smith at St. Andrews when he won the 2022 British Open and Jack Nicklaus when he won the 1986 Masters. That is the level of performance Aaron Rai produced on that Sunday afternoon. His world ranking jumped from 44th to 15th overnight. He rose to 24th in the FedEx Cup standings. And perhaps most consequentially for the rest of the 2026 PGA Tour season, he now holds exemptions into all remaining signature events on the calendar, stages he had to fight just to reach before this. It's very surreal, Rai told CBS. It's been a frustrating season, so to be stood here is outside of my wildest imagination. To truly understand what this victory means, you have to go back to Wolverhampton, England, where Aaron Rai was born to 2 immigrant parents. His mother, Dalver, immigrated from Kenya as a teenager. His father, Amrik, immigrated from India. Dalver worked multiple jobs. Amrik was a community worker. Golf was never the plan. Rai's introduction to the sport was genuinely accidental. He hurt himself while playing with a hockey stick as a toddler. In an effort to make things safer, his mother went out to buy plastic sticks and returned with plastic golf clubs instead. Amrik was an avid tennis player who had never touched a golf club. But while taking his son out to practice tennis, he noticed something. His son's form looked far more like a golf swing than a tennis motion. Rai won his first tournament at age 4, a 12 and under event. He and his father then watched old VHS tapes of Tiger Woods on repeat, averaging 3 or 4 viewings per week. The obsession was complete. 2 of the most talked about quirks in professional golf today trace directly back to those early years. The 2-glove habit came about when a glove maker sent a free pair to the family after Amrik reached out to local papers to raise awareness. Rai took to them immediately. A few weeks later, Amrik forgot to put them in the golf bag. Rai played with just 1. I couldn't play, I couldn't feel the grip, so I've always stuck with the 2 gloves ever since, Rai said. The iron covers trace back to age 7, when Amrik bought an expensive set of tit-laced irons and instilled the need to respect and care for. After every use, they cleaned the clubs meticulously, wiped them down with baby oil to avoid rust, and placed them in iron covers. The baby oil habit eventually fell away. The iron covers never did. As Jon Rahm put it, anybody that wears or uses head covers in his irons because he coveted his irons when he was a kid so much that he wanted to respect the equipment so much, and to still do it? Yeah, exactly, he's still doing it shows a lot about a person. Until age 12, almost all of the golf Rai played was off a customized course length, starting from the fairway and playing holes to fit his distance, with the idea of mastering fundamentals before adding power. There were no shortcuts, no trophies to chase, only internal improvement. By age 15, he had beaten the Lee Westwood World Putt Master record, holing 207 consecutive 10-foot putts. 2 years later, he turned professional. I probably wasn't ready, he would later admit. The early years in professional golf were genuinely difficult. Without a consistent tour to compete on, Rai found his way onto the now-defunct PGA Euro Pro Tour. He won 886 pounds in his first year in 2014, the same year Rory McIlroy won 2 major championships. He struggled to keep pace with players who were hitting it further, putting better, and outsmarting him on course man. But he kept working. The carrot was never money. It was status, climbing to the Hotel Planner Tour, then earning DP World Tour status, then eventually making the move to the United States in 2020, where he earned his PGA Tour card through the Korn Ferry Tour Final. He finished 93rd in the FedEx Cup in his rookie year, then 68th in his second. Then, at the Wyndham Championship, he broke through, outdueling Max Grazerman in the fading light to claim his first PGA Tour victory. His peers watched all of it. Xander Schauffele shared a story that has resonated throughout the golf world since Rye's victory at Aronimi. I feel like I played a pretty good amount of time, and Aaron is always there. He's always in the gym. He's always on the range. He's always, at the Scottish. I'm staying right on site there. I thought it was fun for Austin and I to go putt. Aaron is finishing up his little putting session at 9 p.m. and go to the gym at 9:45. That was 3 years ago. I think that's what it's about to be a major champion. You put the work in when nobody's looking. Caddy Jason Timmis grew up playing junior tournaments alongside Rye, eventually realized Rye was much better than him, and began caddying for him in 2019. He has watched these habits form and solidify for years. There's little quirky things he does in the golf game, but I think that just keeps him grounded in a way, Timmis said. Behind every major champion is a support system that rarely makes the. For Aaron Rye, that support begins and ends with his wife, Gurika Bishnoi, herself a professional golfer. Rye did not hold back when describing what she means to his career and to this victory specifically. She's been incredible. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I wouldn't be here without her, both as a companion, as a friend, as someone I'm sharing my life with, but also as a real support system. She's a professional golfer herself. So her mindset, her advice, her thoughts, whether it's technique or the way I'm holding myself, is absolutely invaluable. The night before his final round at Aronimi, the two had a 30-minute conversation in the car outside there, talking through his game, his mindset, his approach to the round ahead. Some of what she said stayed with him all the way around that course on Sunday. When the 68-foot putt on the 17th dropped, a fan video captured Gurika in the gallery, anonymous among the crowd, raising both arms to the sky. Nobody around her had any idea who she was. That moment has since become one of the most shared clips from the entire champion. And then there was the moment that made the city of Philadelphia adopt a golfer overnight. After the final putt dropped, Aaron Rye declared the Philadelphia Eagles his favorite NFL team, told the crowd that Philly was the best atmosphere he had ever played in, and led the gallery at Aronimi full EAGLES chant. The city had a new favorite golfer. Aaron Rye is taking a well-earned week away from competition. SYNO of South Korea officially replaces him in the Byron Nelson field off the alternate list. The tournament still features Scottie Scheffler as the massive favorite, the defending champion and world number one, alongside Jordan Spieth, Siwoo Kim, and Brooks Koepka. But the absence of the newly crowned PGA champion changes the energy of the week in a way that cannot be ignored. The questions surrounding Rye for the rest of 2026 are genuine and significant. He now has full access to every remaining signature event on the PGA Tour calendar. Bigger fields, bigger purses, bigger stages every single week. He has jumped inside the top 15 in the world. He has proven, on the biggest stage the sport offered, that his game holds up under the most suffocating pressure possible. Can he carry this into the remaining majors? Can he become a Ryder Cup centerpiece for Europe? How dangerous does a player become when his confidence has been validated at the highest level and the doors that were previously closed suddenly swing wide open? It's a really long journey to even get to compete at major championships at events like the PGA Championship, Rye said. Yeah, to be stood here, it still hasn't sunk in for sure. The broader story here extends beyond just one player's career trajectory. Aaron Rye is the first player of Indian descent to win a men's major championship in the history of the sport. He is the son of two immigrants who built a life from scratch and channeled everything they had into supporting a child who was swinging plastic golf clubs before he could properly read. Every iron cover, every double glove, every 9 p.m. putting session followed by 9:45 gym visit. It all led to one Sunday afternoon at Aronimi that rewrote history. The most unexpected winner in a century was, in fact, the most prepared one.